All right, today we're going to take a look at a shot that I made where I jump out of a two-story window from a hayloft. Let's check this out. The downstairs and then off to go do some stuff. So let's get out of here first. Okay. All right. So that's the shot. And I wanted to explain how to get this done. And some of the cell is just sort of setting up the environment. You can see that I'm up in a second story hayloft here. You can look around, and I'm really up there. That's part of the cell. And I've done two different shots. So in the first half, I'm up in the hayloft, obviously. In the second half, I'm down on the ground. So let's take a look at those two shots really quickly. We'll come over to the first shot, and I'll just make this a little bit bigger. And we can see here that I'm up here. I've done the show of the hayloft, and I say, okay, let's get out of here. And I push the camera down. So I don't actually jump, obviously, because it's pretty high. I mean, yeah, it's not that bad, but it's still 12 feet up. And so essentially I just push really fast like I'm jumping down. And it's all in one take. That's the other thing. So we're not cutting there, and setting up for the shot to jump. It's in one take where I just go down. So I just go with the flow, planned out before I even started the whole shot. So I push down like that. And then we go to the second shot, and we can see that I'm on the ground already. And I set it up to jump up and then come down. Okay, so we've got our second half that we need to splice together to make the full shot. So let's take a look at how that's done, because it's really hard, and I was using a phone, so it's actually quite hard to sort out the framing of the shot to make sure that they match up perfectly. So sometimes you have to do a little playing around. And so right here is where we play. So we've got the first shot, and we have it end at its lowest point, essentially. And the second shot, we started at almost the highest point. So we can get these two to blend quite well. Now, the only problem is you might be able to see is the change in angle. So we have to sort of accommodate for that. So if we take a look at this first shot, or the first half of the shot, I've got three keyframes here, and I've got position, scale, and rotation set to do something for this part of the clip. And I put a cut here just so that I can work in the effect controls panel in a small scale. Premiere Pro is kind of funny. It's easier just to, if you just got a small thing to work on, make a cut, do a small clip, and then it becomes very easy to control at a frame-by-frame basis. So back at the beginning of the shot, we're at 960 by 540 because it's a 1080 frame, 100%, and rotation is set to 0. But by the end of this, with I think 8 frames, we're at 140% scale. The position has moved quite a bit, and the rotation is -4. Right? So what the goal is to set it up so that the end frame, and it doesn't matter if it's blurry. In fact, I have also applied, at least I think I did. Where is it? There should be, oh, there isn't. I thought I put a blur on this shot here. I might have put a blur on the other shot then. I thought I did. Yes, I put a directional blur. Okay, so we'll take a look at that in a second. So in the first shot, there's enough blur on it because I pushed down really hard. So we can see that there's quite a bit of blur. It's not clear. But the second shot was, so I needed to blur that quite a bit. And so with the rotation and the position and the scale changed so that I can match the first frame as close as possible, we can then concentrate on what the second one looks like. And for this one, I decided to go with putting in just a slight amount of directional blur right in the beginning, so that if this is off, if we turn that off and we come over to the first frame, you can see it's quite clear, but we don't want it to be very clear. So turn the blur on, and you can see how much blur that creates to sort of match the blur of the first shot. And the only discrepancy throughout all of this is that change in angle, which is really hard to fix unless you really want to be picky. But it's such a small, short, tiny frame of time that you can sell the shot to just kind of come along and look like I jumped out a window. Just like this. And that's good. And so that's sort of how you can use very basic video editing to get a simple effect of changing a position or coming out of a window or a door or something like that, where you just take one shot and it's at the top or on the inside or on the outside, and the second shot is from the bottom or from the inside or the outside of something, where you're jumping through something or jumping down for something or even jumping up to something. You can do that as well. So simple effects, just changing the scale and rotation and position, and also adding a little bit of blur. And then I just barely put in just a slight cross dissolve on the first frame. I could have done maybe 2 frames, but I think it doubled up and looked weird. Yeah. So I only did, because it doubles up like that, I just did 1 frame where it sort of crosses in really quickly and helps sell it to just go straight into the second shot. So hopefully that has been interesting, give you guys something to think about when it comes to making your own tricky little video. Okay, that's it for now. See you in the next one.